Okay, let's get started on the fall of the Roman Empire. Remember, you just need to listen to this. I've posted this online, the PowerPoint itself. If you want to print it and take notes, you can. The purpose of this is that you know the reasons for the downfall so that you can come in on Wednesday and do the activity that I have planned. So you're going to actually try to prevent the fall of the Roman Empire on Wednesday in class. So you need to know some of the back information. So here are just the reasons for the downfall: powerful leadership, foreign invaders, financial problems, and then all of those things kind of wrap into civil unrest. Here is a map of Rome at its height. You can see this is kind of what we've been studying all year. And then this is going to be Rome at its downfall. The Rome is going to split in half. During Roman rule, um, you could travel in the red freely. You could move about as you wanted to. There was no worries of anything happening to you. And so, because people could move from place to place relatively easily, new ideas and technology spread really quickly. Trade flourishes. Remember, part of wars were fought so that Rome could maintain this trade route of the Mediterranean Sea. And the Roman economy grew because trade flourished and new ideas and technology spread quickly. So this is like at the height. This is why Rome grew so big. Well, when you get so large and you have unstable leadership, downfall or decline is inevitable. So, our first reason for downfall is your powerful leaders. Rome went from a republic to an empire. Augustus Caesar, we know, is our first Roman emperor. And he did take advantage of the Senate. He took their advice and their guidance, and he was able to work with the Senate through his reign. Well, eventually, as more emperors come about, we saw through our emperor study, they started just to take power upon themselves. They became all powerful rulers, and they took power really away from the people and gave it to themselves. Also, we know too that the Senate was very, very powerful. Although they were supposed to represent the people, I have air quotes, you can't see them, they really didn't. They represented themselves. So there's this tension between the Senate and the emperors. And a lot of times the Senate had the emperors killed if they didn't do what they want. Um, Commodus is going to be kind of credited for being really where the downfall begins. Commodus rules, remember, in 180 CE. Um, he really ruled with no regard to the Senate. So he was one of the first emperors to really take the Senate out of the equation and rule on his own. Um, there is no system for choosing emperors. So it goes back to that assassination or overthrowing. This goes back to the Senate. So we keep saying, well, these emperors took power away from the Senate. Well, they were taking power away from the Senate, and the Senate was getting mad about that. So there's, again, that tension between the Senate and the Roman emperors. Assassinations and overthrowings come because of that, or because other emperors want the emperor position. So between 235 and 284, Rome had over 24 emperors. That's a lot. So it's unstable. There's not stable leadership. The second reason is foreign invaders. So it's kind of like a domino effect. So Rome is always having to defend against invaders. Nobody likes a powerful nation. So the more land that Rome gained, the more soldiers they needed to fight those wars of conquest. But as they gained more land through those wars, they had to position soldiers on the frontier to protect from invasion. So your soldiers are really spread out and they're too thin. There's not enough soldiers to protect and to fight for. And so as the settlers in these surrounding areas grow, especially right here in Germania, as they grow stronger and more angry at the Roman Empire, they're going to fight back. And as these soldiers on the frontier begin to thin out because there's wars of conquest happening, or they just don't want to be part of the Roman bribery anymore, these tribes are able to kind of get in and infiltrate the Roman Empire. Financial problems. Emperors are going to bribe soldiers to remain loyal to them. We talked about how Julius Caesar and then Caesars after him, or emperors after him, gave land to the military if they fought for him. That was bribery, or they would give them money Because if you had control of the military, you had control of the empire because people were afraid of you. So emperors bribed soldiers. When emperors didn't have money to bribe the soldiers or to throw their big parties or their big festivities, they would make more money. And so as you created more money, it caused the value of money to decline. This is known as inflation. We have this problem today. So as you print more money or you mint more money than what needs to be in circulation, it decreases the value of that money and it causes financial problems for the nation. Emperors would also steal from the treasury of the nation. So this would be like President Trump stealing out of the American bank, that's unheard of. That wouldn't happen. But the emperors would do that. They would steal money from the nation of the Roman Empire in order to throw really massive parties and festivities. So they'd waste all this money that they steal. There were food shortages and really high unemployment rate. This all causes civil unrest. The people started to rise up. There was the plebeians were the mob. They were angry at being a lower class. They were angry at this food shortage. They were angry that the upper class was becoming rich. They were angry about the high unemployment, and they caused civil unrest. When you have civil unrest like that within a nation, on top of bad leadership, on top of no money, it causes a real devastating issue. So the Roman Empire splits in half. So Diocletian in 284 is going to say, okay, this is too unmanageable. I can't manage this large landmass with all of these problems, so I'm going to divide it in half. So Diocletian takes this eastern half, and it's called the Eastern Roman Empire, and he's going to give this other western half to Maximian. This is going to fall. This will stay till about the 1400s. Constantine in the 1300s, in 330, is going to declare this side. He's going to take this right here. He's going to declare it the Byzantine Empire, and he's going to make Constantinople the capital of the Byzantine Empire. This western half continues to decline. By the 5th century, Germanic tribes have really taken it over. From really up in here, you can't see it in Germania, had taken this part over. And Romulus Augustus is going to be the last emperor of Western Rome in 476 CE. He's going to surrender this half of the Roman Empire to Germanic tribes. This is the official Roman rule is officially over. Because Rome is in the western half, this marks the complete fall of the Roman Empire. Now the eastern half is going to maintain. The eastern half, let me go back. This stays, this is the Byzantine Empire. This green becomes the Byzantine Empire with the capital being Constantinople. So with the splitting of the Roman Empire and with the downfall of the Roman Empire here in the orange, this is going to lead to some serious issues for Europe. Just to name a few, because this will be helpful next year when you go into 8th grade. It's going to lead to feudalism with the kings and queens and knights. This area is going to become very tribal as whenever something collapses, it has to be filled. And most of the time when it comes to the collapse of a government or an empire, it fills with people trying to take power over. And with that, divides the nation up into tribal areas. So this becomes very tribal for a while. It sends Europe into the Dark Ages. We have the Crusades, we have the Black Plague, we have kings and queens. And so that all comes from the fall of the Roman Empire. The Dark Ages comes from the fall of the Roman Empire. So to go back to our lecture, sorry, I got on a rant. This green part, the Byzantine Empire, stays till 1453. This is going to be right before the exploration with Christopher Columbus and Sir Francis Drake and all those guys. So it lasts for quite a while. The Ottoman Turks come in and take it over. That's all you really need to know is that the Byzantine Empire falls in 1453. Okay, so that's it. You really don't need to take many notes. We'll go over everything you need to know during our review, but this is really what you need to know for the activity on Wednesday. Be sure you understand these 4 points and how it leads to the fall of the Roman Empire. Love you guys.